Bonjour blokes, how we doing? Welcome to another Homebrew Wednesday. This week is going to be a short one. Yeah, right. No homebrewing this week, but I do have a bottle of something quite special here. This is a homebrew. It's a homebrew lager, folks, and it's the Cooper's European lager. What's gone into this then, before I open it, and it's ice cold, it's just out of the fridge, lovely, is a tin of Cooper's Euro Lager, 2 times 500 grams of light malt extract, so kilo, a packet of Brew Enhancer 1, because I had it lying around, 25 grams of SARS steeped in 500 grams of water and boiled for 15 minutes. Now I know you blokes out there will know by now I'm not a massive hop person, but I had some lying around and I wanted to just use it up really, so I did. And I also used a proper Safflager yeast, 15 grams of that, just over about 1.5 sachets of that, because this is a lager and I wanted to brew it at lager temperatures. So I started off with this particular brew here. I think I pitched it around about 23 degrees, 21 to 23 degrees, and during the course of 24 hours I brought the temperature down to 12 degrees centigrade, and it took about 3 and a bit weeks to ferment. I bottled it. At the time I bottled it, obviously I put sugar in there to carbonate it, and basically all I did when I did that was I siphoned it off of the primary into a secondary over the top of some sugar solution, 180 grams of sugar I think in 200 grams of water, something like that, and then bottled it. Left it in room temperature in this wonderful kitchen for about 2 weeks, and then it's gone back into the fridge for lagering. Now I say lagering like that, I want to break people's fingers when they do that, because I've not got the facility with my little beer fridge to bring the temperature down to 2 degrees centigrade. The lowest I can go down to is about 6, and you can lager at 6 degrees, but the end product won't be as smooth as perhaps, you know, if you lager your beer at lower temperature, say around about 2 degrees. So let's give it a go, folks. Here it is. Here's the naked mermaid. Did we ever find out, folks, if she was naked or just topless or just normal mermaid? Give it a quick open. There's a little bit of fizz in there, not too much. Let's give it a pour. Here we go, folks. Looks like a lager. Now I'm hoping there won't be too much sediment in here because it's been in the fridge for so long lagering. Looks like a lager, doesn't it? It's carbonated, which is a good thing. We like lager to be carbonated. Quite a nice colour there. Of course, as we put some light malt extract in there, it's going to be slightly darker than your bog standard lagers, but not too bad, folks. It looks alright. There's not much of a head on there. Is there any lacing at all? If that's your thing. It's okay. I mean, it looks like a Euro lager. What does it taste like, folks? Tastes like a lager. Tastes like a Euro lager. However, there's that slight homebrew tang in there, which I would expect. As it's just today, it's finished the lagering, so it will probably need a little bit more time to age, maybe another 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm going to age it, and I'm sure that tang will improve, if not go away completely. However, I tried this when before I lagered it, and the tang on it was really bad, and I thought, oh god, this tastes disgusting, and I was ready to chuck it. I'm glad I didn't, because it's quite drinkable now, really. I could quite happily sup these. Again, slight metallic tang on the tongue there, on the back end. But overall, folks, carbonation pretty good for a lager. It's what I like to see. So it just goes to show that, see, my issue was when I was doing the lager, do I lager it and then carbonate it right at the very end and then leave it for a further period of time, or do I, as I did in this case, basically bottle it, carbonate it in the bottles at room temperature for a couple of weeks and then lager it, which is what I've done. And I think, so my concern was that it wasn't, if I did it at the end, it might have been so cold and the yeast might have been, you know, so asleep or even dead that the carbonation might have been an issue. I'm not sure. I've not done it the other way. I've done it this way, and it's not bad, folks, is it? Not bad. So I'm quite impressed with this initially. Again, slight little homebrew twang in there, but not too bad. It does taste completely different to your bog standard Cooper's Lager kit, you know, with the ale yeast. But you expect that because you're using an ale yeast, folks, and you're going to get that sort of ale-ness in your Cooper's Lager kits if you're using the Cooper's yeast, because it's an ale yeast. With this European lager, they supply you with a lager yeast, and also, as I said, I used Saf lager yeast as well as the kit, because I wanted to give the yeast in good enough chance to survive and ferment properly. But overall, you know, it's not bad. Now, would I say this is better than the bog standard Cooper's Lager? Let's find out. Forgive me for just a second, folks. I'm going to zap to the fridge. I'm over at the fridge. I'm over at the fridge. La 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 la. Just so you know, folks. Hello. And I'm going to reach up here. Not very organised today, was I? Sorry about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a comparison, folks. So we've got the Euro lager here that has been lagered properly with proper lager yeast, and I've got a bog standard Cooper's Lager. It's the bog standard Cooper's Lager, yeah, that's all I can say about it really. Which I do quite like, I have to say. I've had it before. I've done this lager in the same way as I've done the lagers before. It's 500 grams of light malt extract, 700 grams of dextrose and 300 grams of maltodextrin. So let's open this one up, if indeed I can. Give it a pour. La 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 la. Put that down there for just a second, folks. Oh, I've lost the lid. Never mind, because I'm going to drink this anyway. Here we have the Euro lager. Sorry, not the Euro lager. The the Cooper's lager. Again, look at the carbonation. It's pretty good, isn't it? Not too bad at all. The colour is, there's a slight haze in there. It's quite young, this one though. It's not quite ready to drink, but it will be drinkable. It's good enough. So let's give it a little taste, folks. Sorry about the wobbling there. Tastes like an ale. A very light ale. Even though the colour is pretty good, it's quite close to a lager, but it's not really. It does taste like an ale. Colour wise together, as you can see, this one, the carbonation is slightly better. This one is fine, it's drinkable, there is enough fizz in there to satisfy my fizzy desires. This one is quite clear though, but remember, this one, folks, has been lagering in the fridge for about 6 weeks, there or thereabouts. So this tastes like a lager from a pub. If I got served this in a pub, I'd be happy with that. Yeah, I'd be happy with that. This tastes like an ale. And you know me, folks, I'm not massively into ales. At the top end, or should I say the bottom end really, where it's not very hoppy, I'm fine. But I'm getting better. I popped round a friend's last weekend and they were doing their own homebrew and they'd done an ale. And I can't remember what kit it was, but I drank some of that and it was quite a dark one and it was fine. So my taste buds are changing, folks. Who knows? At some point I might be a hophead. Doubt it though. So yeah, I mean, if we compare one to the other, they are completely different kits, folks, as you would expect, of course. The lager one, you really have to spend a lot of time waiting for it to lager, ferment and age. Of course, with the Cooper's kit, it takes a week to ferment. You can bottle it a couple of weeks at room temperature to carbonate, stick it in a cold place and just leave it until you're ready to drink it. It's more or less drinkable straight away, but of course it will improve given 3 or 4 weeks. Maybe 4 to 6 weeks will be at its best after it's finished carbonating. So I'm very happy with the Euro. Do I prefer it over the Coopers though? Is there enough of a difference between the two for me to decide, folks, for me to decide whether I'm going to stick to doing Euro lagers, proper lagers, or just basically stick to Cooper's kits? There is a smoothness to the Cooper's lager kit that I quite like, that this doesn't have, but you expect that. Because ales have a slightly smoother profile than a lager does. It's a difficult one, you know, folks, because I like both. But as a home brewer, oh blimey, I've never called myself a home brewer, and I suppose I am. As a home brewer, if I fancy a lager, I don't want to have to wait months before I can drink it. I don't mind waiting 3 or 4 weeks, but I don't really want to wait any longer. Which is fine if you've got stuff on the go. Now, I've been to the shed, folks, and I've cleared out the shed from virtually thrown away all of my ciders, because I'd left them in there and I'd forgotten about them and I just hadn't got around to drinking them. So I ended up chucking most of them down the sink, which hurt, obviously hurt, but they had gone off, some of them. Ciders in plastic bottles, not a good idea really, folks. I don't think they keep their freshness very well. I think ciders, if you're going to do turbo ciders, you need to drink them within 2 to 3 months, I think. The longer you leave them in plastic PET bottles, the chances are they're going to go off and get all vinegary. At least that's my experience. Your experience may be different. I'm sure if you put your turbo ciders in glass bottles, then that won't happen. At least it won't happen for a further extended period of time. I have not really noticed any discernible difference between drinking out of glass bottles and plastic bottles for kits, to be honest. But again, you know, kits are a different kettle of fish. Turbo ciders are much more experimental, and 80 to 90% of the time are unsuccessful, I would say. If you find one that is really successful, then by God, you need to stick to it, folks. And I'm sure, I can't even talk today, I'm sure those that have watched my other videos, folks, will know that I have found a turbo cider that I really love, and that's basically just normal apple juice with nothing else other than WLP 775 liquid yeast in there. So I'm going to stick to that. All my ciders from now on will be done using that yeast. I've tried the Smack Pack, the Y yeast Smack Pack cider yeast, but that's not strictly just a cider yeast. If you look on the packet, it says mead and other things. The WLP 775 from White Labs is purely a cider yeast. It's got apple profile in the yeast, and it really does make a massive difference. So from now on, my ciders will be made using that WLP 775. I just need to get some back off of my mate Gary. Gary, give me some of your yeast, mate. I need it now. Yeah, just need to get some of that yeast. But we're not here to talk about turbo ciders, even though I am Roy Turbo Cider person. I haven't made any for a while. I think I've got what have I got? I've got a turbo cider with the Smack Pack yeast, and when I bottled it, it tasted all right. It didn't have that turbo cider tang, but it wasn't as nice as the 775 when I bottled that. But it may improve though, but I think it's going to take a lot for it to overtake the 775. Because you likes what you likes, don't you, folks? However, we've got a normal batch of apple juice and Y yeast, cider yeast, with no additions. And I've also got another batch of cider that I've just recently bottled with the same yeast, only I've thrown in, after 3 days I think it was, I threw in a bottle of SodaStream concentrate. I think it was mixed fruit, and I just let that run and ferment it out, and hopefully we might get something quite interesting out of that. But again, turbo cider experimentation, folks, is an art form, and you don't always win. You don't always get a decent end product. Whereas, I've got to say, folks, and as much as it pains me to say this, it doesn't pain me actually. It doesn't pain me at all, I don't care. I'm being honest. The Euro Lager is a crystal clear product. It's perfect now. That is just as you would expect a lager to be. The Cooper's Lager is essentially an ale. An ale. Ale, mate. It's an ale. But it's close to a lager, and it tastes great, as does this. I've not yet done a dodgy kit. I've stuck to Cooper's because you stick to what you know best, and Cooper's have not let me down. I've also done a Wilco's lager kit. That came out okay too, folks, but only because I brewed it short and I chucked a load of additions in there to bring up the flavour profile. But from a kit, if you tweak them a little bit, you know, and you add your own things, I do recommend using like malt extract, certainly you need some light malt extract in there when you're making a lager kit. If not 500 grams, then a kilo. Yeah. Excuse me while I just blow my nose. Yeah. Live on air, Roy blows his nose. I had to do that, folks, otherwise I'd just be going every 5 seconds. So I'm taking the glasses off. So what have we learned from this little lesson today, folks? Well, we've learned that lager kits in general produce a decent enough lager. We've also learned that the proper lager kits that come with lager yeast strain, and those lager kits that you chuck your own lager yeast at, come out very, very nice indeed. But they're not a complete planet away from the bog standard Cooper's lager, which comes with an ale yeast. They do look different. Yeah, you can see with your own eyes. This one's a bit cloudy. I don't know. I think it's because it's quite young. This one is not cloudy at all. It's crystal clear. And it really, I guess, it really comes down to your own personal preference, folks. As does any BrewTube review. Us guys out here in BrewTube land can do reviews until, you know, we're sick of them, and we can say that we prefer one lager or cider over another. But ultimately there's always going to be someone out there who disagrees with that, because they've got their own personal tastes, and everyone's tastes are different, of course. But you know, as a brewing community, we're here to share our findings with each other, and that's what I love about doing this. Is you guys are great, really. You know, you have given me lots of tips along the way on how to brew my own. I never thought I'd brew my own ever. I mean, you can ask my friend Gary. He's been trying to get me to do it for, good God, years and years and years. And it's only as a result of me losing my job, really, that I got into it. And I guess that's one good thing that's come out of me losing my job, is that it's given me the time to take stock and give this a go. I did a little bit. I did turbo ciders before I lost my job, but I never really did lager kits and cider kits and things. And I really do enjoy just doing them. It's very strange, isn't it, folks? You know, the only thing I don't like is bottling. I really hate bottling, but I think we all do. But the process of getting your kit, you know, chucking it into the, you know, sanitising your kit, chucking it into your fermenting vessel, getting your light malt extract done, chucking that all in, doing a tiny little tweak each time you do a same brew, just tweaking it a little bit. And you guys offering different hints and tips. I never would have tried this. This one to me is quite a complicated one, because 25 grams of SARS, again, I'm not a hoppy person, and I don't really think it's made this lager taste hoppy. I guess there's a slight hint of hops in there, but it's not enough to overpower it. Now, how would I have known to put 25 grams of SARS into, you know, like 500 grams of water, unless I'd spoken to you guys, or I'd watched your videos? I wouldn't have a bloody clue. I wouldn't even think to do that. So you guys deserve a pat on the back, and I want to thank you all, because you've been very supportive of me since I've started doing these things. And even with the other videos I'm doing, I want to thank you for your responses on that too, because you blokes are mad, and I like mad people. I do. What can I say? You know, if you can't trust someone who's not mad, not a bit mad, you know, just a little bit mad, that's fine. Not mad where you want to go out and like stab people in the face or anything. Just a little bit sort of slightly off centre. You know, that's how I. If someone were to say to me, Roy, how do you consider yourself? Slightly wrong. You know, just not quite all there. I like that. I love people like that, and you blokes are fucking mental, I tell you. But I love you all. So we're going to end this week's Homebrew Wednesday, folks. Hope you've enjoyed my ramblings again. I was only going to do a review, ironically, on this Euro lager, but I thought it'd be a good opportunity for me to go to the fridge because I knew I had a normal Cooper's lager in there. So I was going to drink it over the weekend and I never got around to it. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to do a side-by-side comparison of the Euro lager versus the normal bog standard Cooper's lager kit with the ale yeast. And I like both, but the end product, if you're going for as close to a lager as you possibly can, the Euro lager is the way to go, folks. It's crystal clear. It tastes like it really does taste like a European lager. It's as close as you're going to get to, say, I wouldn't say a Beck's really, but that style of lager, the Euro style, you know, it's as close to that as you're going to get. You simply will not be able to come close to that using the Cooper's bog standard cheap and cheerful lager kit, because it's got an ale yeast in there and you're not doing any lagering, of course. But you do need patience, folks. I'm glad I did it. I would do it again, but I'm not sure I would do it straight away. I might do a few more batches of the Cooper's stuff. I think I may even have a premium Cooper's lager. That it's not a European lager. It's the Thomas Cooper range, so it's the slightly more expensive lager kits, and I think that comes with a lager yeast as well. So I don't know, folks. The next batch will either be a proper lager or another Cooper's kit. Watch this space. Watch this Spakes. What are you on about, Roy? I was thinking about Jeremy Spake, that bloke who used to be on that airplane program. I wonder what happened to him. Why is he in my head? Ugh. Anyway, thanks for joining me, folks. It's been a blast. I do enjoy doing these, and I want to thank you for watching and giving me the thumbs up and subscribing, more importantly. Do join me on Facebook on the Turbo Ciders group. We don't just talk about Turbo Cider in there, we talk about lagers and things as well, and the guys on there are just an amazing bunch of blokes. And you know, if you're trying Turbo Cider for the first time, that's the place to be. Come on there. We're a friendly friendly bloke. I'm a friendly bloke, as are all the other blokes that are on there. We're a friendly bunch of blokes. I can't talk today, chaps. What's wrong? I've only had 2 ciders. Look at that, 2 ciders. I can't even say bloody lager properly. Anyway, we're a friendly bunch of blokes, folks. So come and join us over on the Turbo Cider group if you hadn't already. We're on Facebook. Just search for Turbo Cider group. You'll find us. And I'll stick the link below. Or it's on the channel, in fact. It's on the home channel, my home channel. Thanks for watching again, folks. I did say this was going to be a short one, didn't I? But you must know me well enough now to know that when I say that, it's not. So, God bless you, chaps. See you in the next one. Ta-ra for now, and may your God go with you.